Hey guys, so I know that we haven't got to read our chapter book, so I checked it out, and I'm going to read a couple chapters at a time. That way you can listen to it right before nap time, like we usually do at school. So I'm going to start over because we only read one chapter, and that was a long time ago. So let's start over, and let's read Ghost Town at Sundown. Now remember, there's not a lot of pictures in this, so I'm just going to read, and if there's a picture, I'll show you. So let's start. So there's Annie on the porch, and I think that's Jack reading. So remember, they're trying to be master librarians. So this is one of the missions that they have to go to be the master librarian. Jack and Annie were sitting on the porch of their house. Annie was gazing down the street at Frog Creek Woods, and Jack was reading a book. I have a feeling we should go check the woods again, said Annie. Why? Said Jack without looking up. A rabbit hopping by, said Annie. So? We've seen rabbits before. Not like this one, said Annie. What do you mean? Said Jack. He stood up and looked with her. He saw a rabbit with very long legs hopping down their street. Soon the rabbit left the sidewalk and headed to the woods. He's a sign, said Annie. A sign of what? Said Jack. That Morgan's back, said Annie. She jumped off the porch. Come on! But what about dinner? Said Jack. Dad said it would be ready really soon. Don't worry, said Annie. You know how if we leave in the treehouse, time stops. She ran across the yard. Jack pulled on his backpack. Oh, back in 10 minutes. Back in 10 minutes, he called through the screen door. Then he followed Annie. They hurried down their street into the Frog Creek Woods. The sun was setting above the trees. There he is, said Annie. The rabbit was standing in a ray of sunshine. When he saw them, he took off. Jack and Annie followed the rabbit until he vanished behind the tallest tree. I told you, see, said Annie, panting, as she pointed up to the tree. Morgan Le Fay was waving at them from the magic treehouse high in the branches. Jack and Annie waved back at her. As always, Jack was very happy to see the enchanted librarian again. Come on up, she called. Jack and Annie started up the rope ladder. They climbed up to the treehouse. We followed a strange rabbit here, said Annie. Is he your friend? Perhaps, said Morgan. She smiled mysteriously. I have very many odd friends. Including us, said Annie. Morgan laughed. That's right. How are you? Said Jack. I'm still having a problem with Merlin, said the enchantress, which leaves me a little time to do my actual work. But soon you will both become master librarians, and that will help me a big deal. Jack smiled. He was going to be a master librarian who traveled through time and space. It was almost too good to believe. Are you ready to solve another riddle? Asked Morgan. Yes, Jack and Annie said together. Good, said Morgan. First, you'll need this for the research. She pulled a book from her robe and handed it to Jack. It was a book that would help them on their journey. The title of the book was Days in the Wild West. On the cover was a picture of a western town on the prairie. Oh, wow, said Annie. The Wild West! Jack took a deep breath. But just how wild, he wondered. Morgan reached into the folds of her robe again and pulled out a scroll. She handed it to Annie. Read this when the treehouse lands, she said. Is that the riddle? Said Jack. Yes, said Morgan. Then you'll only have 2 more to solve. Are you ready to go? Jack and Annie nodded. Annie pointed to the picture on the cover of the Wild West book. I wish we could go there, she said. And the wind started to blow. Goodbye, said Morgan. Good luck. The treehouse started to spin. Jack squeezed his eyes shut. The treehouse spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Jack opened his eyes. Morgan Le Fay was gone, and a fly buzzed around his head. Okay, there's chapter 1, guys. So I'll read another one, and it'll be on here. Might read 2 more on the next one, but that way you can keep up with us on our chapter book. So I'll post a couple more chapters here in a little bit.